Microsoft is shoring up its commitment to Canada with a vow to protect Canada's digital sovereignty. So the tech giant says it will spend more than $7 billion over the next 2 years to expand its AI and digital infrastructure. This follows growing concerns that Canada's digital sovereignty may be at risk because our data is stored in other countries. For a closer look at what this means for your information, I'm joined by Anne-Marie Mediwake, tech analyst. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Lindsay. Great to be with you.
This is big money. This is all part of a multi-billion-dollar investment that Microsoft has committed to by, 2027. Why is Microsoft investing in our digital sovereignty?
I mean, the future we know is AI, and just about every other tech company, so OpenAI, Google, Amazon, they're all throwing tens of billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars into what's called their AI infrastructure. We know that AI needs a lot of compute power. It makes computers work really hard. So you've got to build even bigger data centers to power that. Every time you ask ChatGPT a question, you're making a server in a data center work. And so you've got to build bigger data centers than you have now. You've got to build electricity to power them. You've got to make sure that it's close to where the people who use it live. And as it turns out, Canada is an amazing place to build data centers because of our climate, because of our education levels, because of our economy, because of our access to great technology. So Microsoft has been in Canada for 40-odd years now. They've got significant investments here. Over 5,000 people from them work here. So it kind of makes sense for them to double down on AI here because they've got a huge client base in Canada, may as well serve them with technology right here north of the border.
Well, we know that the federal government has talked about wanting more data centers built in this country to move away from our reliance on the U.S. So some people are asking, well, why invite an American company to do the building of this?
No, because the sad truth is when you look at the tech giants on planet Earth, not many of them come from Canada. So as great as it would be if we had Canadian companies doing this, the sad reality is we don't. So we have to rely on subsidiaries of American companies to commit to the Canadian economy. And that's the case here. It's the best of, frankly, not an optimal situation. But Microsoft has deep roots here already, so we may as well take advantage of them. And if they're offering to write some really big checks to bring Canada or help Canada compete in the AI economy, we certainly wouldn't want to say no to it.
For those listening right now, they're going, wait a second, what is digital sovereignty? Let's walk through that a little bit. And what safeguards are needed to be in place for this?
So we live in what's called a cloud-based world. Every time you sign into something, you go to a website, you use your Gmail, you download an app and start using it, you're interacting with the cloud. So your data, all the stuff that you do, is stored somewhere else, somewhere on the internet. And because of the way the internet is architected and because American companies dominate, most of that data doesn't stop at the Canadian border. Some of it could sit in a data center in the U.S. We didn't care about that before this year, but thanks to the political climate, now we do. The worry is you might be working on something and it might be sitting in an American server. It might be subject to American oversight. What if their laws change? What if the government isn't so reliable and suddenly they're surveilling your stuff? It's bad enough if you're an individual, even worse if you're in a business, especially in a business that's covered by, for example, healthcare or finance, where we have regulatory rules that govern who sees what. So there's a lot of worry about making sure that if we're Canadian, our data stays here north of the border. This is part of that, and this will ensure that if you work in Canada, you don't have to worry about your data going somewhere else.
These data centers require a ton of power, like you mentioned, and millions of liters of water every year to operate their cooling systems. Why are people concerned about that aspect of this?
It's a significant problem because data centers get hot, and so the water is used as part of their cooling systems. But of course, if you're taking that much water out of the grounds, out of the water system, the water table, that can have a significant impact on the ecology nearby. We're starting to see some reports that show pollution levels are rising in areas that have large concentrations of data centers. We don't think about it nationally, but certainly if you've got a data center sitting next to your town, that's a concern, and the research is already worrying. So, if we're going to be building this capability, and we are, Canada's a great place for that, we need to make sure that we have environmental standards in place to protect the ecology, protect the environment around these places so that we don't ruin the lovely Canada that we already have in the pursuit of AI.
Anne-Marie Mediwake, always good to see you. Thanks so much.
Appreciate it, Lindsay.
If you like that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.